Hello, this is Pavel, and this is today's brief. I build technology for service company, and on this channel, I look what technology changes for business. Not the tools themselves, but what they change. And this video has one idea, start to finish. If there is no human effort behind the result, people stop paying for the result. Is this a law? Because if it is something that we need to consider every time when we incorporate technology changes into our businesses, especially nowadays when changes are coming so fast. If there's no human effort, it has no value. That sounds philosophical, but it isn't. It is the one of the oldest pricing law in business, and AI just switched it back to the full strength. I'm going to walk it through from different angles, and we're going to see from the technology, from the business, from economic, and the design rule that falls out of it. Let's start with a question. Why does exact same piece of work lose its value the moment people find out machine made it? Take AI presentation. 2 years ago, watching a machine build a full deck looked like magic. Today, the only way to use an AI-made deck is to make sure it doesn't look that AI made it. Think about how strange it is. The output is better than most people produced by hand. Cleaner structure, better design, no typos, doesn't matter. The moment it carries the stamp made by AI, it reads nobody cared enough to do this themselves. And the perceived value drops towards zero. Same thing in music. AI can render a Metallica song in the style of Beethoven. Technically, that's an almost impossible arrangement. And it sounds great. Almost nobody watches it, because what people buy in art was never that difficulty. Art is a condensed human effort. The effort is the thing being bought. And that's the law. Value doesn't live in the artifact. How good it is, how polished, how hard it was to make, it lives in the human effort people can detect behind it. Remove the effort and you can't keep it all quality and still lose all the value. If that's true, and I'll spend the rest of this video showing that it is, it changes how every service company should deploy AI. Not whether, how, and more importantly, where. First, here's the thing. This law is much older than AI. See what happens to watches. In the 70s, Quartz arrived. Quartz watch was cheaper than a mechanical one and more accurate. Not slightly more accurate, massively more accurate. Better than an actual job of watch telling time by every measurable standard. The Swiss industry, which owned watchmaking, collapsed. Around 90,000 people worked in Swiss watchmaking at the start of the 70s. By the mid-80s, it was around 30,000. Everyone drew the obvious conclusion. The machine does the job better for the fraction of the price, so mechanical watchmaking is finished. And then the strange part happened. Mechanical watches came back as luxury. Today, mechanical watchmaking is an industry worth tens of billions, and people pay 10, 50, and 100 times more for watch that is objectively worse at keeping time than a $10 quartz movement. What are they paying for? The hundreds of hours of human hands inside it. The brands even redesigned product to make the effort visible. Glass case backs exist so that you can literally watch the human work. When the machine took over function, the function became nearly free. The value didn't disappear. It moved to one thing the machine couldn't supply: detectable human effort. The watch industry that survived is one of that stopped selling timekeeping and started selling condensed human effort. Every service company deploying AI right now should have that story taped in the wall. The function commoditized, the effort becomes the luxury. So there's a question for your business. If machine made loses its value, should you keep doing everything by hand? No, of course not. And this is where the most companies take the wrong exit. There are two facts here, and both are true at once. Fact one, when technology removes the effort behind your service, the price follows the effort down. The customer sooner or later will ask a question, why I'm paying for something that a machine does in 30 seconds? Every company the internet made more efficient eventually discovered the same efficiency made them optional. But fact two, you cannot refuse the technology. Your competitors adopted, customer expectations moved up too much, and doing your internal work by hands gets you no premium. It just makes you slow and expensive. So hands only is not a strategy. That looks like a trap. The way out is to see what actually collapses. If the price of commodity effort, the routine production, what rises in the same time is the leverage of the human directing it. There was a time when a small working application was the final chapter of any programming book, and thing you could finally build after 300 pages. Today, that's warm-up exercise for a model. That's not value collapsing. That's the ceiling going up of what one person can produce. Same event, seen from the floor or from the ceiling. So don't protect the value of refusing the machine. Move the human effort up to where it worth more, judgment, direction, and ownership of the results. Which raises the only question left, where exactly does the machine go? Here's a rule I would build a service company on. Where you put the machine is the value decision, not how capable the machine is, where it sits. The loudest voices in technology want agents to deliver the results end to end. The agent talks to customer, sends the report, closes the loop. Aaron Levy, the CEO of Box, is one of the strongest proponents of exactly that. Everything in his video says, same tools, opposite placement. Put the machine behind the human, never in front of them. Let AI run the internals, aggregate the data, monitor the workflow, draft the document, check the numbers, then keep a human at the point of delivery, the person who presses send and owns what happens next. Because the customer was never buying the artifact, they were buying a person on the hook for the result. The human at delivery isn't decoration, it is accountability. And the accountability is what they're paying for. Remove it, and you converted your server into commodity the customer will eventually get straight from the machine without you. Machine internal, human at delivery. And here's the concrete move. Take your service and mark your point where the customer receives something, a report, a phone call, an answer, a decision. At each point, make an explicit choice. Machine behind, human in front. Most companies will never make this decision consciously. It's being made by them, by whoever configures the tool. That map, that's your value preservation plan. So the whole video is one line. Is there no human effort? There is no value. The quality of the artifact was never the product. The effort and the ownership behind it were. The companies that win with AI will not only one that removed humans from delivery. They will be the one that uses the machine to make every hour of human effort worth 10 times more and keep the effort exactly where the customer can see it. The tool is never the point. What changes is, and I'll see you next time.